This video is going to show you how to create a template within Excel and how to make multiple copies of the template, and ultimately at the end do a consolidation of the data across all of the sheets. So bear with me while I open up my screen. That's not the one I want. Hold on a second. Okay, so I have got a store called Herod's Department Stores. Okay, and I have various branches across Inverness, Dingwall and Nairn. Okay, so I have income from a variety of sources. Okay, and obviously I have various expenditures, okay, in order to run the stores. So electricity, rent, rates, wages, postage and stationery. Okay, so I want to lay this out in order to work out how much income I make over a 3-month period, okay, for each of the branches, what the total is, okay, over that quarter, the average figure, the highest figure, and the lowest figure, okay, or the lowest monthly takings. I also want to work out what the expenditure is across those months, and again, the total for the quarter and what the average, highest, and lowest figures are. So ultimately then what I would like to do is, knowing my total income and my total expenditure, I will be able to work out for each of my branches whether or not I have made a profit or a loss, okay? And then what we're going to do ultimately is then combine the data from the 3 different branches into one grand total. So basically, we might be making a huge loss in Inverness, but my organisation as a whole, okay, Herod's Department Stores overall, because the other branches are making a profit, is looking quite healthy. So it allows you to target specific branches to see exactly what's going on in the individual branches, but then it also gives you an overview of the organisation as a whole. Okay, so what I have done to speed up the process, I have just typed in, obviously, my heading, Herod's Department Stores, the branch, okay, which I will populate on each of the sheets, and I've just headed up. You always start off with your income, okay, so you start off with your income at the top, and I've just got various headings here, okay, so month 1, whatever, 2, 3, and just what I want my columns to contain for me. The elements that I'm going to get income from, then I'm going to have a total line, then I have my expenditure items, okay, again, total expenditure, and then I'm going to put in a formula to work out the profit. Okay, so in the template, okay, the whole point is you create one template, and then we copy the template across 3 times, 4 times, however many different branches we have, and we populate the individual sheets, okay, one for Inverness, one for Dingwall, one for Nairn, okay. You keep your template without any data within it, okay, but your template has all of the formulae and all of your formatting and everything applied, so that each of the sheets then, obviously, children's clothing for month 1 is always going to be detailed in B7, okay. So when we then add the data across the 3 sheets, I know that B7 contains the figure for month 1 children's clothing for each of the branches, okay. If you copy and paste, okay, so you know you could create this template with all your formula in it. You could copy it, but when you go into sheet 2 to paste it in, you might click on the wrong column, or you might click on row 2. Okay, so then all the data, okay, is going to be for each of the different sheets in different places. So you might find that you're adding up, for instance, month 1 children's clothing, but then adding that onto the next branch's figure for china and glass. Okay, so by creating a template and copying the templates, then every single sheet will be a mirror image of the previous one. Okay, so as I say, all I want to do is put into my template any specific formatting and my formulae. So to work out the total across the 3 months for children's clothing, you know it's equals the sum, open brackets, and click and drag across the range. Okay, or for those of you who use your also sum, you could have picked it up from here. Okay, so okay, I've already formatted the whole spreadsheet as well with currency. Okay, so that's why it's coming up there just with a nothing. Okay, so no value, but it's got my pound sign and everything all there already formatted. So again, you know, you would just do that by highlighting the sheet and coming up into the currency and popping it on there from that little icon. Okay, so average we know is equal average. Again, you could use the AutoSum, but please remember, if you're using the AutoSum, you do not need to include column E, okay? So if you do it my way, it's safer, okay? Because I don't have to remember to go back in and change the actual formula, okay? So I'm just going to say equals average, click and drag, eyeballing and highlighting so I can actually observe the cells that I want within the calculation. Okay, again, I get an error message, so it's just telling me I'm dividing something by nothing. Okay, I don't have any values in the cells at the moment, but that's perfectly okay, that's acceptable. Okay, again, highest would be equals max. Okay, again, remember, if you're using from the AutoSum icon, if you're picking it up from here, make sure that the formula only includes the 3 cells for months 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so B7 to D7. Click and drag, okay, using our fill handle, okay, from the bottom right-hand corner of cell to drag the formula down. Okay, we're using relative cell addressing here, okay, so there's no issues with any cell that needs to remain constant. Okay, so we can just copy the formula down the column. Okay, lowest would be equals min. Okay, again, I'm going to click and drag over B7 to D7, enter that in, and copy it down. Okay, so I want to add totals. Okay, so again, I type it in, you can use your AutoSum. So I'm going to total each column. Okay, and again, I'm going to fill that across just to column E. Okay, and then I would be doing ditto, okay, for my expenditure, but I'm not going to do that just now. The formula are exactly the same. I'll let you do that when you play about with it yourselves. But obviously the calculation for my profit, okay, or loss would be equals our total income for the month minus, okay, our total expenditure for the month. Okay, and again, I could click and drag that across. Okay, so that's the basis of the template. As I say, if you wanted to put in any headers or footers, your corporate logo, colours or whatever, you would do that in the template and then you copy the template. Okay, so try to make sure that you've got everything that you want in the template before you copy. Specifically, you're going to want to make sure that you've formatted it for currency. Okay, so to copy the template, the easiest way to do it is hold your Control key down, click on the template, and when I hold my left mouse button down and move it over to the right-hand side, it's got a little plus on it, okay, which indicates to me that I'm taking a copy. Okay, so I'll do that again. Hold your Control key down, click on the template, start moving it, let go, and it'll say template 2. The other way to do it, the long way to do it, okay, if you right-click, there is an option to move or copy. Where do you want to copy it to? Okay, so I want it to go in before sheet 2, but you must remember to click on create a copy, okay, or it'll just move it. Okay, so 2 different ways of doing it. Okay, so again, Control and, oops, hold on, sorry, Control and drag, okay, or right click, move or copy. Where do you want it to go in before, and then create a copy, and then OK. Okay, so I'm just going to use my Control key and drag it. So to rename the sheet, okay, I'm going to rename easy, right click. I'm going to call this one Inverness. I'm going to call the next one Nern. Okay, you'll see I'm right clicking and using the option for rename. You can also double click on the existing name and pop it in for there. Okay, if you want to delete the additional ones, just right click, delete, right click, delete, and right click, delete. Okay, so I've already got one of these files populated, obviously because you don't want to sit here and watch me typing. So what happens next is okay, once I have created my template, okay, so exactly the same template as we looked at earlier, when I come in to the Inverness sheet, I just type the branch and I put in the cell B3 that it's Inverness. I did the same for Dingwall and I've done the same for Nern. Okay, as soon as I start to put in my values, okay, sorry, this one's slightly different. Not to worry, it doesn't have the total column, but it doesn't matter. As soon as I start to put in the values, okay, where I have formulae automatically get populated. Okay, so they will automatically populate as soon as I start typing in some figures. So I haven't done all of Nern. So let's just prove that to you. Hold on till I get some figures for Nern. Okay, so income from children's clothing. The minute I start typing in 3,000, you can see average, highest and lowest, and already my total here and my profit, okay, are populated. So China and glass. I'm just going to go down month one column and you can see how it populates because the formulae are already there for me. Okay, so what you would do, obviously, you would just populate for your income for month 1, 2, and 3. I've already populated the expenditure, so everything is there already for me. Okay, so hence the reason you create the template with everything you want on it, okay, and then you copy across, okay, and then once you start populating the blank cells, okay, where you've got a formula automatically populates for you. Okay, if I've made a mistake, okay, so you can see in my layout here, okay, the one that I've copied across, okay, is slightly different than the one we looked at earlier, but that's fine. If I notice that I've done something wrong or I've forgotten to put something in or I don't like something, I can change it, okay? What you must remember to do though is do not just change it in the template, okay? If you change something in just the template, it will not replicate across, okay? Unless you have selected all of the other tabs, sheet tabs as well, okay? So if you change something in the template, you must remember to also highlight all of the sheets. And in order to do that, okay, click on the first sheet. If I hold my shift key down and then click on the last sheet, you can see that I've selected all of the sheets in the range, okay? So I'm going to click away to deselect, click on the first sheet, hold my shift key down, click on the last sheet. I've selected them all. What I want to do is get rid of the data in row 17, for instance, okay, because I've got the column headings up the top. I don't need them to be replicated in row 17. Okay, so now when I click on each of these sheets, you can see that row 17 does not have any data contained within it anymore. Okay, well, as I say, you must remember to always select all of the sheets. Okay, so I clicked on the first one in the range, I clicked on the last one in the range, and then that allowed me to delete the text. If I'd forgotten to put on my currency, for instance, okay, you don't want to have to go through every single sheet. What if you've got 16 of them? Okay, you might have 16 branches in your organisation. You don't want to have to go through every single one to have to add the currency individually. Okay. The whole point about keeping the template as well is if I expand, okay, so if my organisation expands and I suddenly open a branch in Inverurie, okay, again, I would just copy my template. So I'm going to hold my control key down, drag my template, okay, rename it Inverurie, okay, and then I have a blank template to populate with Inverurie's data, okay. So last thing I just want to have a quick look at is how do we then consolidate that data? Okay, so how do I get the grand total? How do I add Inverness to Dingwall and Nern and Inverurie if I had Inverurie? But I'm just going to delete that sheet tab again. Okay, it's telling me it's going to permanently delete it. You can't undo the function. Okay, do I want to continue? Yes, I do. Just delete. Okay, so what I've done, okay, for my total, in fact, I'm going to delete my total. Let's just do this from scratch. I would copy my template yet again. Oh, I've got two selected there. That's not going to work. Beg your pardon. So just click on template, hold my control key down and drag, right click, rename, call it total. Okay, I want to just get rid of the columns E, F and G, okay, because I'm not going to add up the average, the highest and the lowest figures. I just want to know what the totals are for month 1, 2 and 3. So I'm going to delete E, F and G. So I've selected them, okay, up in the grey area where the actual initial is. Okay, the letter. Right click and delete. Because I've selected all three of them, the three delete at the same time. Okay, so how do I add, okay, children's clothing for Inverness, Dingwall and Nern to get a grand total? Nice and easy. You know that we start off with equals to start our formula. We're summing, okay, so we're summing across the three sheets. Where do I get my first figure from? Okay, so where is the first figure for month 1 children's clothing? That comes from the Inverness sheet. So click on the Inverness sheet, click on children's clothing, okay, B7. Remember how we selected all of the sheets? Hold my shift key down and click on Nern. You'll see that it's selected Dingwall as well. If I had 65 sheets between Inverness and Nern, they now would all be highlighted. If I have 10, if I have 2, if I have 3. Okay, so you click on the first, hold your shift key down and click on the last. Okay, if you look at the formula up here then, it's saying equals sum, so it's summing the range of Inverness to Nern and the cell B7 within that range. Okay, do not click back on the total sheet, but hit your enter key and that will enter the formula into the total sheet. Okay, so it's the sum of the range Inverness to Nern and the cell B7. Let's have a look at that again. Let's do for month 2. Then my total sheet equals the sum of, back to Inverness, month 2 children's clothing is in C7. Hold your shift key down, click on the last sheet in the range, which is Nern, and you can see there it's summing the range Inverness to Nern, C7. Hit your enter key, and there we have it. One more time, equals sum. Where do I get month 3's first figure? I get it from the Inverness tab. Month 3, D7, hold your shift key down, click on the last sheet in the range, hit your enter key, and there we have, equals the sum of the range Inverness to Nern, D7. Okay, Excel's lovely and clever. Once you've done that, all you have to do, highlight all 3 cells, okay, the columns B, C and D for row 7. Get your fill handle, bottom right hand side, drag it down. Okay, remember hashes just mean that the column's not wide enough to display all of the data. So just double click between D and E to widen the column. Okay, if you want to be clever, you just drag that the whole way down and then just delete out of any rows or cells that you do not need the calculation. So very, very quickly and easily we can do work out the total across each of the 3 sheets or 16 sheets or 65 sheets and get, so we know that whilst one branch might be making a loss, we can see there that perhaps the organisation as a whole, okay, is still quite healthy. Okay, so you don't have to just use equals the sum of, you can use equals max, min, average, there's all of your calculations can be performed across multiple sheets, okay. Even if I just wanted to add up 2 values together, okay, I could just say equals Inverness B7 plus Nern B7, for instance, okay, and just enter. Okay, so you're just using what cell do I want to include within the calculation. So you can multiply, you can divide, you can subtract, all exactly the same way. Okay, one last thing. If I wanted just to have something, I don't know, maybe I want to change the font or something like that, and maybe just Inverness and Nern. Okay, Inverness and Nern are non-adjacent, okay, just as we were using columns before when we were doing our charts. So if I wanted something to happen on just the Inverness and the Nern sheets, okay, I could just click on Inverness. Remember, hold your control key down. When I click on Nern this time, you see that I haven't included Dingwall. Okay, if I was to type something, I'm just going to say hello. Okay, in cell D2, just to show you the process. Template wasn't selected. D2 has nothing in it. Inverness was selected. It has hello. Dingwall wasn't selected. It has nothing in it. Nern was selected. It has hello. And the total wasn't selected. There's nothing in D2. Okay, so that was simply click on the first sheet within the range, hold your control key down, click on the last sheet. I'm now going to delete hello out of there. Okay, so exactly the same process as if you were working within just selecting non-adjacent cells or columns. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing and thank you for watching.